Place, remember, the Mariners 2-1 up. Do they complete the job tonight, Daniel McBreen, or can Sydney spoil the party?
Well, good evening, Simon, and all our viewers out there. Well, it's
most of the home fans expecting them to complete the job, but Sydney, of course, old hands in finals football. He's been in the team of the week quite a few times, I imagine.
He has. He's been a real star performer since debuting. Seems like a long time ago last season, doesn't it?
Across the ditch in New Zealand to secure their spot in the grand final. Who is going to be their opposition? This is Brian Kaltak. Lifts it out to Serda. And Courtney Perkins. Down the line for Mack. Who was shadowed by Dan Hall. Well, the club did say they were expecting maybe 5,000 of their fans here tonight. Dotted around the ground at various points. They might have to keep quiet if they score.
But just dragged it back in.
There's that high press again from Sydney FC. Didn't necessarily work in full groove last week, but they've given Danny Vukovic a problem here. And Courtney Perkins collides with Dan Hall. There's no penalty awarded. Ryan Grant with a little wall pass, and Robert Mack has stolen in behind. And it could fall here for Max Burgess. Well, Burgess onside. And clips the crossing. Gomez went for it. Back post is Lacerda. This is good pressure from Sydney FC early on.
Spreads himself well and gets to the second.
Well, that's two big saves he's made already, Danny Vukovic.
I think he was asking if it was a foul. Didn't see one there either.
Gomez losing out to Max Ballard. Skimmed off the head of Dan Hall and out for a throw. Lacerda getting his chance tonight because of that red card to Jack Rodwell in the first leg. Ballard's crowded. Maybe feels it's time as the team started creating a few more opportunities. Just the one so far, which fell away of Alan Quall. Because Courtney Perkins, a little nudge there perhaps, did he? No. Referee happy to play on. And that high Sydney jabbed back by Thea Harris for Dan Hall.
Penalty box. Just starting to find a little bit more going forward. A couple of challenges going their way now as well.
On Anthony Caceres, which Caceres needing a couple of seconds just to gather himself before retaking his feet. Ryan Grant threads it through for Mack. Here's Fabio Gomez building nicely here, Sydney. It just got away from Gomez and Courtney Perkins. And it's the Central Coast Mariners' 43rd game of the season. These sorts of areas. Burgess. Cross towards Gomez. Well marshalled by Hall. King Hacker in recent months in particular. It's been reinvented really, hasn't he? There's an attacking right-sided midfielder, and he's repaid that faith with
Ability, but he had a little while to settle in.
It's one of the things they do so well, the Central Coast. Yeah, a little grab by Farrell. Here's the free kick. And it's not away yet for the Mariners, and Burgess to try and put his boot through it. And Brad Taylor. Intelligent ball by Burgess. This is a really good counter from Sydney. Courtney Perkins, can he cut the ball back? It's a good block by Dan Hall. Well, the hopeful ball forwards. Comfortable for Kaltak. Close touch. Really do his team.
Farrell.
Look at how hard Sydney are working to try and win the ball back high up the pitch. Something they didn't particularly execute that well in the first. They didn't have something more to show for it.
Yeah, it was a very dominant display. Danny Vukovic and some desperate defending kept them out. And that would be the danger that...
Western United in 21-22 against Melbourne Victory. Either of the team news at the start of play today. No changes for the Mariners. Ball cross. Joel King with the header clear for Sydney. You can almost...
He was asked to sit down by Larissa Pagani. Didn't, and that's what brought the second yellow card on.
It's as tense in the technical zone as it is on the pitch. Sydney again win the ball back high up. Gomez feeds Robert Mack. The angle wasn't there for the shot. They try to reset, and Luke Bratton to drive it all. Wide left is Courtney Perkins. Burgess looking for that angle run of Robert Mack. Mariners fans behind the goal. Lift again. This has been a difficult night for their team so far. They're still in front, just. They've had a bit of joy with it. There it is again. Mack able to turn this time and thread it through. Oh, now pinched by Courtney Perkins. Fabio Gomez, big chance! Robert Mack around two defenders! Did it go over the line? Sydney are convinced it did! Chested down by Dan Hall, who was forward for the corner. Sydney get out of that little gap, or do they? No, Nisbet. Thrashed away by King. Back it goes for Edmondson. Storm room. Well, it's typical finals football, isn't it? Again, appeals for Burgess. Up and out by Dan Hall. Burgess. Too many defenders around him. He's won the... All about concentration now for the Central Coast. Caceres whips the ball in. Dan Hall not quite away. An achievement that would be, but they've had to do it the hard way tonight.
Well, they have. And after round 4 of this season, there were many people saying...
Here's for handball against Joel King. Nothing doing. Set long by Bratton. Sydney desperate now for all this. Turned with interest by Caltac. It spins up in the air. Matthews. Oh, and Fabio Gomez in a collision.